To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. We can't settle in at sunset. We can't settle in at sunset. Will I stop after 2 centuries? Will I stop after 2 centuries? Did you measure? Did you measure? Should not be an optician every month. Should not be an optician every month. Was her stepfather a fashion designer? Was her stepfather a fashion designer? Did not continue. Did not continue. Can I connect? Can I connect? His mother was a physicist. His mother was a physicist. Despite the difficulties, we managed to complete the task. Despite the difficulties, we managed to complete the task. The realtor showed us the house. The realtor showed us the house. Both my mom and dad are retired now. Both my mom and dad are retired now. It is normal for children to go to school. It is normal for children to go to school. I have too much mercy. I have too much mercy. Can we add? Can we add? Couldn't find information on the subject. Couldn't find information on the subject. His wife is the controller. His wife is the controller. Can it carry? Can it carry? Will they not insist? Will they not insist? I don't mean a year later. I don't mean a year later. Are we hired? Are we hired? By the time the book is finished, she will have been reading it for 3 weeks. By the time the book is finished, she will have been reading it for 3 weeks. They were to become paramedics in the afternoon. They were to become paramedics in the afternoon. They were firefighters before. They were firefighters before. Can you insist? Can you insist? I walk to work every day. I walk to work every day. Are your cousins psychiatrists? Are your cousins psychiatrists? Won't she enjoy the sunrise? Won't she enjoy the sunrise? Can you check in one afternoon? Can you check in one afternoon? I'm going to have to miss the game tonight because I have to take care of my sick grandmother. I'm going to have to miss the game tonight because I have to take care of my sick grandmother. The report concludes that social media can be a valuable resource for children and adolescents when used wisely and carefully. The report concludes that social media can be a valuable resource for children and adolescents when used wisely and carefully. Can you analyze a century ago? Can you analyze a century ago? I'm not sure if what you're saying is true. I'm not sure if what you're saying is true. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. They could notice. They could notice. The house is indescribable. The house is indescribable. I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I can do this. Can you ever settle down? Can you ever settle down? I don't notice anything special about the situation. I don't notice anything special about the situation. Won't he speak at dawn? Won't he speak at dawn? He wasn't shouting. He wasn't shouting. I'll have to buy a new dress. I'll have to buy a new dress. Didn't she wait? Didn't she wait? Didn't I just bake? Didn't I just bake? Does not recommend. Does not recommend. Aren't they 2 weeks from the advertiser? Aren't they 2 weeks from the advertiser? He did not assume occasionally. He did not assume occasionally. Does her stepdaughter write? Does her stepdaughter write? Aren't we locked out every day? Aren't we locked out every day? I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. Therapist at sunrise? Therapist at sunrise? When the party's over, they'll be partying for 5 hours. When the party's over, they'll be partying for 5 hours. Not live at 5 p.m. Not live at 5 p.m. We can adapt at dawn. We can adapt at dawn. Then you can't manage. Then you can't manage. I cook weekly. I cook weekly. Can never clear. Can never clear. I'm going to church. I'm going to church. Won't you be a journeyman at sunset? Won't you be a journeyman at sunset? Isn't he judging now? Isn't he judging now? I would change. I would change. You didn't answer at 5 o'clock the previous evening. You didn't answer at 5 o'clock the previous evening. Show for 2 weeks? Show for 2 weeks? For I am sure he will be very successful. For I am sure he will be very successful. Was your brother an assembler? Was your brother an assembler? Is his half-brother a fielder? Is his half-brother a fielder? Didn't we teach? Didn't we teach? He will live in 2 weeks. He will live in 2 weeks. Don't they listen? Don't they listen? Can you evaluate? Can you evaluate? The episode was very interesting. The episode was very interesting. I'm walking. I'm walking. We shouldn't imply every year. We shouldn't imply every year. Did not refuse the previous one evening. Did not refuse the previous one evening. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. I live in the city but I am originally from the county. I live in the city but I am originally from the county. Next year trader. Next year trader. The equipment was very busy and it was very difficult to escape. The equipment was very busy and it was very difficult to escape. Did I walk? Did I walk? Get fit. Get fit. Not a historian 2 days later. Not a historian 2 days later. I'll be working on my thesis all day tomorrow. I'll be working on my thesis all day tomorrow. We should not threaten. We should not threaten. He was a factory worker 1 week ago. He was a factory worker 1 week ago. You cannot mark at sunset. You cannot mark at sunset. Were his grandchildren agents? Were his grandchildren agents? Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. His cousins were bakers. His cousins were bakers. I'm not sure I can believe what you're saying. I'm not sure I can believe what you're saying. Wouldn't you be chosen? Wouldn't you be chosen? Can you be responsible? Can you be responsible? I have zero patience. I have zero patience. We often argue about politics. We often argue about politics. Were his cousins dietitians? Were his cousins dietitians? Have you connected before? Have you connected before? Do we have to discuss it later? Do we have to discuss it later? Will they be voiced after one night? Will they be voiced after one night? His brothers were lecturers. His brothers were lecturers. Did he make a machinist at night? Did he make a machinist at night? Next year can't doubt it. Next year can't doubt it. After 2 seconds you should be an alchemist. After 2 seconds you should be an alchemist. I'm tired of your tears. I'm tired of your tears. The employee was fired for stealing company property. The employee was fired for stealing company property. Can I hide? Can I hide? Shouldn't he say 1 week later? Shouldn't he say 1 week later? I'm really looking forward to the next movie. I'm really looking forward to the next movie. You can make it 2 seconds ago. You can make it 2 seconds ago. I have not suffered for a week. I have not suffered for a week. Both parties must come to a mutual agreement. Both parties must come to a mutual agreement. Not everyone is cut out for this kind of job. Not everyone is cut out for this kind of job. Can't you follow now? Can't you follow now? Can fit monthly. Can fit monthly. Your grandson was a foreman. Your grandson was a foreman. My grandfather is a firefighter. My grandfather is a firefighter. Didn't he insist? Didn't he insist? He wouldn't have choreographed right away. He wouldn't have choreographed right away. Is his half-sister a lawyer? Is his half-sister a lawyer? The art collection in the museum was impressive. The art collection in the museum was impressive. Your grandpa is the babysitter. Your grandpa is the babysitter. Do I never measure? Do I never measure? You were monthly. You were monthly. Aren't we directly at 5 a.m.? Aren't we directly at 5 a.m.? No hairdresser at night? No hairdresser at night? I am washing clothes. I am washing clothes. He listens to the radio every morning. He listens to the radio every morning. Will I match? Will I match? You were not the focus. You were not the focus. Question everything you know. Question everything you know. Public support is essential for success. Public support is essential for success. Not washing machine after 5 nights? Not washing machine after 5 nights? We question. We question. Can't sit after 4 years? Can't sit after 4 years? Didn't it come out last year? Didn't it come out last year? Is to take care of. Is to take care of. We will clean up in 5 years. We will clean up in 5 years. Didn't he do veterinary practice occasionally? Didn't he do veterinary practice occasionally? Shouldn't he be a banker before? Shouldn't he be a banker before? Shouldn't we cut it after a century? Shouldn't we cut it after a century? Not organized? Not organized? Can't they always market? Can't they always market? I will be working on this project for 6 months by the end of the year. I will be working on this project for 6 months by the end of the year. They met in the park for a picnic. They met in the park for a picnic. After the training is complete, we will evaluate the results. After the training is complete, we will evaluate the results. Your grandparents were welders. Your grandparents were welders. We will not be registering soon. We will not be registering soon. I closed my eyes and let the sun hit me. I closed my eyes and let the sun hit me. Will not sort. Will not sort. After 3 months, you can go to the doctor. After 3 months, you can go to the doctor. Could he have contacted the night before? Could he have contacted the night before? Was flying. Was flying. Our cousins are announcers. Our cousins are announcers. I'm going to the restaurant. I'm going to the restaurant. I was kidnapped. I was kidnapped. Your mother-in-law is a travel agency. Your mother-in-law is a travel agency. The country's economy was heavily dependent on tourism. The country's economy was heavily dependent on tourism. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. I must let you know at dusk. I must let you know at dusk. For I'm going to the amusement park. For I'm going to the amusement park. Their stepmother is an optician. Their stepmother is an optician. I can't exercise. I can't exercise. It can be prepared in an afternoon. It can be prepared in an afternoon. Can't we pour it later? Can't we pour it later? Can't they demand? Can't they demand? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? He didn't answer at dawn. He didn't answer at dawn. We can't kick in the afternoon. We can't kick in the afternoon. That limit. That limit. Can't judge in the twilight? Can't judge in the twilight? I may not always look. I may not always look. We won't be engineering soon. We won't be engineering soon. Both employees and customers will benefit from this upgrade. Both employees and customers will benefit from this upgrade. Then he may not be a sportscaster. Then he may not be a sportscaster. It wouldn't last year. It wouldn't last year. Did you care a minute ago? Did you care a minute ago? You may have a cough when you have a cold. You may have a cough when you have a cold. Dogs are weird. Dogs are weird. Can't we burn weekly? Can't we burn weekly? Wouldn't he hate? Wouldn't he hate? Can't we improve after 4 months? Can't we improve after 4 months? Her stepdaughter was the lead actress. Her stepdaughter was the lead actress. He played video games with his older brother. He played video games with his older brother. Shouldn't care now. Shouldn't care now. I'm in the room at the end of the hallway. I'm in the room at the end of the hallway. We couldn't answer. We couldn't answer. Your father was a pipe player. Your father was a pipe player. Uncle lyricist. Uncle lyricist. My son was a hydrologist. My son was a hydrologist. Could not protect. Could not protect. You can convince after 1 hour. You can convince after 1 hour. I don't want to lose my quest for low prices. I don't want to lose my quest for low prices. He was the stepdaughter's race car driver. He was the stepdaughter's race car driver. The authority on the subject is a well-known scientist. The authority on the subject is a well-known scientist. Shouldn't he be a hematologist after 4 years? Shouldn't he be a hematologist after 4 years? They will thank. They will thank. I don't have money to buy a new car. I don't have money to buy a new car. He goes to the park for a picnic. He goes to the park for a picnic. His mother is a dermatologist. His mother is a dermatologist. Are their mother-in-laws fashion designers? Are their mother-in-laws fashion designers? Does it get better in the afternoon? Does it get better in the afternoon? You are not pulling. You are not pulling. It shouldn't matter after one night. It shouldn't matter after one night. Don't we need to fill it often? Don't we need to fill it often? Inseparable at sunset. Inseparable at sunset. I go to school every day. I go to school every day. Don't we need to provide? Don't we need to provide? I should never limit. I should never limit. You lie down at midnight later at 2 a.m. You lie down at midnight later at 2 a.m. Shouldn't it then? Shouldn't it then? They wouldn't make a deal. They wouldn't make a deal. His brother was a translator. His brother was a translator. Should be appreciated every year. Should be appreciated every year. Does it need to be expanded? Does it need to be expanded? I don't want to drink alcohol. I don't want to drink alcohol. You can't know. You can't know. I will have completed my apprenticeship next year. I will have completed my apprenticeship next year. Will they care now? Will they care now? Won't they be researchers every 2 weeks? Won't they be researchers every 2 weeks? Will it attack at night? Will it attack at night? Can't you be a physicist then? Can't you be a physicist then? He hung the picture on the wall. He hung the picture on the wall. The stepdaughter's curator. The stepdaughter's curator. Your colleague is the postman. Your colleague is the postman. Will they borrow? Will they borrow? Your wife was the owner. Your wife was the owner. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. I have a back pain. I have a back pain. Can it rain? Can it rain? Is our sister an apprentice? Is our sister an apprentice? Didn't I install? Didn't I install? I'm going to watch a movie in English. I'm going to watch a movie in English. Can we leave soon? Can we leave soon? Can they serve? Can they serve? Do we have to suggest? Do we have to suggest? Can't they kill at sunrise? Can't they kill at sunrise? Although the project was challenging, we succeeded. Although the project was challenging, we succeeded. Then they must be negotiators. Then they must be negotiators. I thought you'd be here by now. I thought you'd be here by now. Grandson's nanny. Grandson's nanny. I'm in the room on the right. I'm in the room on the right. Is your nephew a lantern? Is your nephew a lantern? Can they be born earlier? Can they be born earlier? Don't we solve it often? Don't we solve it often? All the guests are gone and the party is over. All the guests are gone and the party is over. Her stepmothers were translators. Her stepmothers were translators. I need some help. I need some help. Your wife is a detective. Your wife is a detective. I ate cereal for breakfast. I ate cereal for breakfast. Can't I draw? Can't I draw? I usually say. I usually say. Did he sign? Did he sign? Your half-brother is the undertaker. Your half-brother is the undertaker. Shouldn't I be a weekly player? Shouldn't I be a weekly player? I'll have to buy a new dress. I'll have to buy a new dress. They surfed in Hawaii. They surfed in Hawaii. Both sides have valid points. Both sides have valid points. We will fill it soon. We will fill it soon. He's a 2-week trainer. He's a 2-week trainer. The education system in the country needed reform. The education system in the country needed reform. Can I access the internet? Can I access the internet? Will we be 10 years naturalists? Will we be 10 years naturalists? Can I hide? Can I hide? You have stated that you are interested in learning more about horticulture. You have stated that you are interested in learning more about horticulture. Food tastes bad, I don't like it. Food tastes bad, I don't like it. Your brothers were merchants. Your brothers were merchants. Can he be an aviator at night? Can he be an aviator at night? Not going to be an assistant last year? Not going to be an assistant last year? Will you plan for the next 5 days? Will you plan for the next 5 days? Autumn leaves are beautiful. Autumn leaves are beautiful. You will use. You will use. Don't we trade annually? Don't we trade annually? Should we rank? Should we rank? I'm going to the grocery store to buy some milk. I'm going to the grocery store to buy some milk. I don't notice anything special about the experience. I don't notice anything special about the experience. Was his stepfather a urologist? Was his stepfather a urologist? Should he write? Should he write? He introduces. He introduces. I go to school every day. I go to school every day. They ran a 5,000 race last weekend. They ran a 5,000 race last weekend. You were a salesperson every day. You were a salesperson every day. Was my stepsister a tailor? Was my stepsister a tailor? They were going to destroy it last year. They were going to destroy it last year. I may not be a pathologist by noon. I may not be a pathologist by noon. Are their grandparents ambassadors? Are their grandparents ambassadors? I am passionate about making a difference in the lives of others. I am passionate about making a difference in the lives of others. Will he write? Will he write? Did he jump? Did he jump? Do not sleep. Do not sleep. Still, there are some concerns that need to be addressed. Still, there are some concerns that need to be addressed. I have a pain in my head. I have a pain in my head. Anything can happen in the future. Anything can happen in the future. Shouldn't it be reduced? Shouldn't it be reduced? He had a cup of coffee before going to work. He had a cup of coffee before going to work. Can they reproduce? Can they reproduce? Your relatives were barbers. Your relatives were barbers. You may not be an interviewer at sunset. You may not be an interviewer at sunset. I was a writer back then. I was a writer back then. Were his half-brothers night watchmen? Were his half-brothers night watchmen? His colleague was a businessman. His colleague was a businessman. Can he remember later at 5 a.m.? Can he remember later at 5 a.m.? Aren't they shop assistants at dusk? Aren't they shop assistants at dusk? Will usually include. Will usually include. Can you cook? Can you cook? I'll go forward in 2 weeks. I'll go forward in 2 weeks. I have to divorce. I have to divorce. Please enter your name and password. Please enter your name and password. You will be connected at dusk. You will be connected at dusk. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Should we go to the gynecologist after 3 a.m.? Should we go to the gynecologist after 3 a.m.? Then we will play football in the park. Then we will play football in the park. I can't believe we're already into the new year. I can't believe we're already into the new year. Shouldn't he accept at dusk? Shouldn't he accept at dusk? They will not be shared soon. They will not be shared soon. Do they play? Do they play? He will graduate from college next year. He will graduate from college next year. Is my daughter a lifeguard? Is my daughter a lifeguard? Should the librarian arrive in 3 days? Should the librarian arrive in 3 days? Not all of the answers were correct. Not all of the answers were correct. I have 12 brothers and sisters. I have 12 brothers and sisters. Don't you wash every day? Don't you wash every day? Proving your opinion is not enough. Proving your opinion is not enough. Will they never be receptionists? Will they never be receptionists? Then 1 in the morning it wouldn't shake. Then 1 in the morning it wouldn't shake. We will include earlier. We will include earlier. Will they not connect? Will they not connect? Shouldn't we be lieutenants right away? Shouldn't we be lieutenants right away? They come from different countries but have a common language. They come from different countries but have a common language. Can we set up a meeting for next week? Can we set up a meeting for next week? Were his half-brothers chauffeurs? Were his half-brothers chauffeurs? Were his neighbors detectives? Were his neighbors detectives? I rode my horse in the countryside. I rode my horse in the countryside. She may not have been a waitress last year. She may not have been a waitress last year. I have to answer. I have to answer. Will it continue? Will it continue? Can't they be lumberjacks in the afternoon? Can't they be lumberjacks in the afternoon? Her stepdaughters are publishers. Her stepdaughters are publishers. Couldn't it be missing 1 year ago? Couldn't it be missing 1 year ago? He would deny it after 4 nights. He would deny it after 4 nights. I'm going to church. I'm going to church. It can wait at noon. It can wait at noon. Can't replace it after 2 years? Can't replace it after 2 years? Shouldn't he be watching? Shouldn't he be watching? Can it follow 3 hours ago? Can it follow 3 hours ago? Not wearing. Not wearing. You blow. You blow. Looking forward to a relaxing weekend. Looking forward to a relaxing weekend. The leader of the group was late, so I took over. The leader of the group was late, so I took over. The chain was too short. The chain was too short. They don't think after 4 hours. They don't think after 4 hours. That test. That test. Should not question. Should not question. I couldn't stay in jail at noon. I couldn't stay in jail at noon. He considered his dog as his best friend. He considered his dog as his best friend. I should not return. I should not return. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. Was her grandmother the interviewer? Was her grandmother the interviewer? Can I have another slice of cake? Can I have another slice of cake? Air traffic controller in 2 hours? Air traffic controller in 2 hours? I promise to be fast. I promise to be fast. While the proposal has some flaws, it's worth considering. While the proposal has some flaws, it's worth considering. Should not follow. Should not follow. Am I not going to do a masseuse weekly? Am I not going to do a masseuse weekly? I can create. I can create. I'm trying to be more patient. I'm trying to be more patient. Was his son a glazier? Was his son a glazier? May I not recognize? May I not recognize? I promise to be fast. I promise to be fast. Will they not burn? Will they not burn? We're doing architecture right now. We're doing architecture right now. The death of the famous actor created a shock effect in the entertainment industry. The death of the famous actor created a shock effect in the entertainment industry. Were they used every day? Were they used every day? I wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt. I must excuse the paints. I must excuse the paints. Can he talk for 2 weeks? Can he talk for 2 weeks? The details of the report were impressive. Every aspect of it thoroughly researched. The details of the report were impressive. Every aspect of it thoroughly researched. I have to cut. I have to cut. There is a fine line between love and hate. There is a fine line between love and hate. Could not add. Could not add. Can never clear. Can never clear. Didn't he jump at dawn? Didn't he jump at dawn? Do they do it often? Do they do it often? They'll be rehearsing for 2 weeks when the concert starts. They'll be rehearsing for 2 weeks when the concert starts. I may not be a cop in 5 hours. I may not be a cop in 5 hours. You can't always succeed. You can't always succeed. One day ago he was not afraid. One day ago he was not afraid. Are you the monthly warrior? Are you the monthly warrior? Should not invent every month. Should not invent every month. Would they force? Would they force? Were his parents statisticians? Were his parents statisticians? By the end of the week, I will have completed all my training. By the end of the week, I will have completed all my training. They can become beekeepers after 4 weeks. They can become beekeepers after 4 weeks. The city council will vote on the proposal tomorrow. The city council will vote on the proposal tomorrow. His brother was a locksmith. His brother was a locksmith. They don't get cold. They don't get cold. They can lobby next year. They can lobby next year. Shouldn't it be stored every month? Shouldn't it be stored every month? It will not cook. It will not cook. Don't we feel sometimes? Don't we feel sometimes? We may not be able to do carpentry at sunset. We may not be able to do carpentry at sunset. You should get old last year. You should get old last year. His stepmother is an air traffic controller. His stepmother is an air traffic controller. Can I choose annual? Can I choose annual? Should they complain often? Should they complain often? It may rain. It may rain. We go to the movies on Friday nights. We go to the movies on Friday nights. Can she be a waitress now? Can she be a waitress now? I have a pain in my side. I have a pain in my side. He may not like it. He may not like it. Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? They watch their favorite TV show on Wednesdays. They watch their favorite TV show on Wednesdays. He will graduate from college next year. He will graduate from college next year. Can he write every day? Can he write every day? Can't I have anesthesia every year? Can't I have anesthesia every year? They get fit 5 hours ago. They get fit 5 hours ago. Shouldn't I stay? Shouldn't I stay? Does it sign annually? Does it sign annually? Shall we get closer to 4 midnight later? Shall we get closer to 4 midnight later? We will change. We will change. I'm not sure I want to help you. I'm not sure I want to help you. They can never be surgeons. They can never be surgeons. I'm going to make a cake for my friend's birthday. I'm going to make a cake for my friend's birthday. It shouldn't matter after one night. It shouldn't matter after one night. He shouldn't be dealing with her at noon. He shouldn't be dealing with her at noon. After 3 months it should be a technician. After 3 months it should be a technician. I'm confused about what you're trying to say. I'm confused about what you're trying to say. Can defend in the afternoon. Can defend in the afternoon. I have to diet. I have to diet. Can't find 10 years? Can't find 10 years? I have a great idea for a new job. I have a great idea for a new job. Should not appear. Should not appear. Will start last year. Will start last year. Do they have to shout? Do they have to shout? They would not be successful next year. They would not be successful next year. Can't jump occasionally? Can't jump occasionally? Aren't they painters later on? Aren't they painters later on? Was our sister an interviewer? Was our sister an interviewer? Was our aunt a drummer? Was our aunt a drummer? Is your husband a hunter? Is your husband a hunter? We can't believe it. We can't believe it. We are not cardiologist for 2 weeks. We are not cardiologist for 2 weeks. He is a columnist. He is a columnist. Should they host right away? Should they host right away? It doesn't appear every week. It doesn't appear every week. 4 weeks later I'm laughing. 4 weeks later I'm laughing. Can't be a tradesman after a year? Can't be a tradesman after a year? I want to visit my friend. I want to visit my friend. Can I connect? Can I connect? He was saved. He was saved. Is she cooking at night? Is she cooking at night? What is your favorite hobby? What is your favorite hobby? If it's cloudy, I won't go out. If it's cloudy, I won't go out. They can land in 5 weeks. They can land in 5 weeks. Could be an engineer. Could be an engineer. Will it not support after 4 years? Will it not support after 4 years? Can it rain silently? Can it rain silently? I'll cause this in 3 seconds. I'll cause this in 3 seconds. Then they will be suitable. Then they will be suitable. Can it rain? Can it rain? To judge at sunset. To judge at sunset. Can't it be cream? Can't it be cream? The cost of living in the city is rising. The cost of living in the city is rising. Can the result be after 3 weeks? Can the result be after 3 weeks? I will press the correct one. I will press the correct one. Do we climb? Do we climb? Can they appear every month? Can they appear every month? Wasn't he an occasional musician? Wasn't he an occasional musician? Can't they be missing after a month? Can't they be missing after a month? Can create. Can create. It could not have come before the 5th century. It could not have come before the 5th century. Will there be an illustrator every year? Will there be an illustrator every year? 4 afternoons must do engineering. 4 afternoons must do engineering. Won't find it at sunset. Won't find it at sunset. Is our grandfather an assistant? Is our grandfather an assistant? Despite being a small town, it has a lot to offer. Despite being a small town, it has a lot to offer. Are her stepbrothers free? Are her stepbrothers free? I shouldn't remember. I shouldn't remember. We didn't get points. We didn't get points. I have too much courtesy. I have too much courtesy. Can't they fire fighter jets at dusk? Can't they fire fighter jets at dusk? Wasn't he a physicist before? Wasn't he a physicist before? There will be no monthly lieutenant. There will be no monthly lieutenant. I was so stupid that I thought the sky was closed. I was so stupid that I thought the sky was closed. I have a lot of strength. I have a lot of strength. Can I choose? Can I choose? Is her colleague a pharmacist? Is her colleague a pharmacist? Is my husband a vocalist? Is my husband a vocalist? Always understandable. Always understandable. I think we should run them and work to make them work better. I think we should run them and work to make them work better. I may not be a pathologist by noon. I may not be a pathologist by noon. Can I finish 4 days ago? Can I finish 4 days ago? Can't usually eat? Can't usually eat? Can you fit often? Can you fit often? Pronunciation is also an important element of learning English. Pronunciation is also an important element of learning English. We are having lunch at noon. We are having lunch at noon. Weren't they curious? Weren't they curious? Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we fail. Don't I wake up after 3 weeks? Don't I wake up after 3 weeks? I definitely danced at my wedding. I definitely danced at my wedding. Does he care at night? Does he care at night? Can't we defend after 3 nights? Can't we defend after 3 nights?